So here we are getting large amounts of measurable energy on two different devices out here on the middle of nowhere, 17 degrees on a cold.
Whoa.
That is a lot.
Whoa.
That is a lot of energy. That's 25 milligauss into the red there. Something and somebody has just arrived.
We're on our way to investigate the Sueur Minnesota urban legend of the Lantern Man. A figure reportedly seen holding a lantern and wandering the train tracks. The Lantern Man has been seen often enough that this story has even been covered by local media. So, who is the Lantern Man, and why is he here? Psychic and author Adrian Lee hopes to find out.
We're looking to explore some more urban legends here in Minnesota, and we're here just outside of Sueur. There's a gentleman here and he's called the Lantern Man, and we're on the railway tracks and we have to be very careful because these are still in operation. But it's been rumoured there's a man standing here with a lantern and no one knows why he's here, but he's been confronted and then he walks through you or just disappears. And if you look this up, there's a lot written about the Lantern Man, so we're going to do some investigations. We'll see what's here and hopefully we'll put some history to that as well.
Oh, and history will not disappoint. By the end of this episode, Adrian will have discovered and validated some very eye-opening information, including what he believes is the Lantern Man's identity.
So as we started to introduce the investigation, suddenly the K2 EMF meter jumps into the red with a reading of 25 milligauss, and there's a constant amount of energy there. Really unusual. Nothing arrived when we first came here, and as soon as I introduce everything, something's come through, something transient has joined our investigation.
We got something on the Iovulus.
Low. Can you shout your name out if you're here, just to find out what spirits are in this location right now? What's your name?
Only minutes into the investigation, and we have high energy readings, and even though we don't hear it until after evidence review, we have a name.
Could you just shout that out again for me, please, nice and loudly, so I know it's you? Held.
And the K2 was going again.
So, did I get your name right? Can you shout that out for me again, please? Someone said busy. What's your name? Can you see us at the moment? Can you actually observe what we're doing? I'm going to come straight out and ask, are you aware of the legend or the mythology of the Lantern Man? Are you aware of what that is?
As Adrian continues his questioning, we know now, after the fact, that the name Bill came through several times. There will be many more responses. Some we hear immediately, some we only discover after the review.
Who's making the lights come on that meter on the floor? That grey box has lights on it. Who's walking through that? Who's making that come on? I want to specifically talk about the Lantern Man. So whatever spirits are here on this railway line, whether they be from the brewery or the residents behind me here, are you aware of the tale of the Lantern Man, yes or no? Yes. Is it real? Is that legend real, yes or no? Yes again. So who was the Lantern Man? Do you know who he was?
And there it is again.
So based on the fact that you said Lee Center, did that individual come from Lee Center and died here? Would that be correct? I'd be able to find that individual if a spirit gave me their name. Could you tell me who you think the Lantern Man is? Is there a spirit at this location that knows the name of that individual? Did that individual die on this railway track, or did they just haunt this track? Did they actually die in this location, yes or no?
Dead.
I thought someone said dead. So they died at this location, would that be correct? Why did they have the lantern? What were they trying to do? Were they trying to stop a train? There was a no under there, but I'll go again. Was that individual with the lantern actually trying to stop the train, yes or no?
14 doesn't stop? Is this referring to the number 14 train, which we know does exist in Minnesota and was operational during that time period?
Let me go through some options and then you can give me yes or no answers. Were they trying to stop a train, yes or no? They did. Let me ask again, were they trying to stop a train? What was on the line? Can you tell me? Was it a tree? Was it snow? What was on the line?
Looking for
We hear Le Center again and the phrase, looking for cars.
Did they die at this location, yes or no? Can you tell me, did they die at this location, yes or no?
Edna's on the Iobulus, and the K2 is jumping.
Is Edna the name of one of the spirits I'm talking to right now, yes or no? Can you say hello, Edna, or can you shout your name out if you're listening to me? Female voice. Did you say Edna? Can you shout Edna?
The name Edna is significant because that is the name of the daughter of a man we won't meet until our night investigation days later.
Where's the best place to see the Lantern Man? Where's the best place to observe him? Is it to my left, to my right, where we are? Can you say left, right, stay where you are, or is there a direction you can give me? I thought it would be a good idea, based on the Singapore theory or the theory of familiarity, if you wear clothes from the period, if you make music from that period, we often get spirits come to us. And I thought, we're on the railway tracks, we're looking for the Lantern Man, and I got myself one of these train whistles. So I'm going to blow on this and just see if we get a sense that something might arrive. Obviously it sounds like a train, so we'll see if we get anything come through on the back of that, and throughout the course of the investigation I might use this. So I'm just filming with the SLS camera here, hoping to maybe get some stick figures come through, get a sense that the Lantern Man might be here based on this technology. So I'm just going to scan up and down the railway line and we'll see if he presents himself.
While the SLS camera yields no results, we move the investigation farther up the tracks. Oddly enough, back and behind where we just were.
Where's the best place to see the Lantern Man? Where's the best place to observe him? Is it to my left, to my right? We're now driving to a second location where Lantern Man has been spotted, and hopefully we'll get some more evidence when we arrive. We're now at a second location that we think the Lantern Man has been seen, so we're going to run the equipment again. We got a lot of EMF hits on the K2 at the last location, so now I've introduced a Mel meter and we can try and get digital readings of that as well. So we're going to persist, we're going to try and see if it comes through on the ghost box, and we'll try and add a bit more information to the legend. I just want to find some information about the legend of the Lantern Man. So the first thing I'm going to do is ask if any of the spirits present are aware of that legend. So can you give me a yes or no? Do you know the Lantern Man legend? What's the name of the Lantern Man? Can you tell me? I'm going to ask the Lantern Man directly. If you're here, I'm a historian, I do historical research, I write books on the history of Minnesota. Can you tell me your name, please? Who is the Lantern Man? What is the terminology we're hearing all the way through this where we're getting one? Is that relating to the number one, or is that someone's name? We're going to try and see what the one that keeps coming through is. It could be someone's name, it could be the number, of course. Is one somebody's name? Yes or no? Is one a number? Someone said obviously. I'm relying a little bit more on my psychic skills right now because the equipment isn't giving me the information we need. Rather than have the equipment validate my psychic work that way round, I'm going to do the psychic work first and then come back to this. But I think there's a guy here who keeps telling me his name's Billy. So I'm thinking he's William. I'm wondering if he's the train driver. So I'm going to just start working on that in the background psychically while we use the ghost box. I think they're trying to tell me it's 1901, which gives me a great opportunity to do historical research, because at the very least I can turn every page of the local newspaper for the year 1901. There'll be 52 copies, and that won't take too long in a town like this. It's probably only got 8 pages to it. So I think there's someone who wants to come through called William or Billy. Should you prefer William, or do you want to be called Bill or Billy? Bill. Based on all the information we have here, and we are now starting to get some things come through, the psychic work kind of unblocked everything a little bit. I'm going to walk up to where those stones are, the aggregate there. I just feel that's the area that I'm being drawn to, and I think we'll get better responses. So if you follow me, we'll go up and have a listen. I feel we're a bit further along the tracks here, and this is where I'll get more results. So we started to piece together some of the information I'm being given here. Bill seems to be the railway driver of the train, and we had the name Joe shouted out, so I'm just going to see if they can give me a bit more information and let me know what's going on here. Is Joe the name of the Lantern Man? Can we get a name for him? What's his name? There's a bill in there, wasn't there?
Yeah. Train also.
Train. This gentleman fall off of the train, yes or no?
Adrian continues this line of questioning, working in the names and numbers he's heard in real time, trying to piece things together to get even more relevant responses.
We're going to do some historical research. We've got a date, we've got names, we have an incident that may have happened here, we have a place where this took place in La Center. We're going to do some historical research and we will be back and we'll do a follow-up investigation based on all the facts that we can find.
And a few days later, we're back with more equipment and at night. Adrian wears a few pieces of period-correct clothing and carries a lantern in an attempt to stimulate activity.
We're back here in the evening at the train track near La Sueur. If you remember, we got some individuals come through and I've done some historical research since then and I found some suicides that have actually taken place in this spot. So we're going to run the equipment, we're going to go again. We thought it was a really good idea that if the Lantern Man was around, we would see the light better at night time, of course. So we're going to see what happens tonight and hopefully the Lantern Man will come through.
Suicide? Right here on these tracks? Could a suicide victim be the Lantern Man?
See that dark figure there on the left? Right above, go directly above that white circle. See that darkness? You see that? I'll put the thing around it.
Yeah.
It's there, right? But when I go down, can you see that?
Yeah.
So that's all trees and bushes back there.
Well, what the hell is that cold spot then?
Exactly. So I've just taken a picture of it, but there is something in there looking at us. It's changing shapes. It's moving about a little bit. It's getting bigger, right?
Yeah, it is.
Right. That wasn't as big as that when we started. Look how big that's forming, look. So there's definitely something cold in amongst all that undergrowth there. When I turned the ghost box back on to make sure it was working, over by the car someone shouted out, "I'm dead."
Oh.
And I had my DVR running, so I probably caught that. I just need you to come through. We've done some historical research and I've discovered that there's been several incidents at this railway crossing. A gentleman named Edward Moore committed suicide here, and there was an incident with a guy called William when the front of his car was clipped by a train as he was driving back from the centre. If either of you are here, can you shout your name out? Someone said me. What's your name? Someone said I'm dead again. So underneath all of that, someone said I'm dead. I'm aware that you're dead. I just want to have a conversation with you. I'm a historian and I want to find out a little bit about who you are. What's your name? Can you shout that again? It's very cold tonight, so I just want to jump straight in and ask outright. Is your name William? William Teed, is that your name? Yes, very clearly. William, were you driving back from the centre when you had an accident, yes or no?
As history would have it, William, or Bill, and his family almost died here in a collision with a train.
William, did you have an incident with your car when the fender was pulled off, coming back from the centre, yes or no? Were you the man that was speaking to me when I was here earlier in the day? William, are you the spirit that's known locally as the Lantern Man, yes or no? I thought there was a very faint yes under there, but we'll ask again. William, are you the gentleman that's known locally as the Lantern Man, yes or no? William, do you try and warn other drivers or other people that are pedestrians about the dangers of the railroad crossing? Yes. Can you shout out that response again nice and loudly so I know it's you? William, are you the gentleman with the lantern, yes or no? There was also a gentleman that I discovered at the turn of the last century called Edward Moore, and you lost your farm and were depressed, and you threw yourself under a train about halfway as the train was going along under the wheels. Are you here? You committed suicide at this crossing. Are you here, Edward? Can you shout Edward out if you're here and listening to me? Do you prefer being called Ed or Edward or Ted or Theo? What would you prefer? Edward Moore, are you here at the moment, yes or no?
The spirits of two men with traumatic connections to these tracks, both candidates to be the Lantern Man, are both present and speaking to Adrian.
Getting a recording there of measurable EMF. So we were just talking about what we needed to do next, and suddenly for the first time we have EMF activity.
We're at 3 there. Oh, okay. Okay. The flashlight wouldn't do that, right?
No. And that's only got a range of 3 or 4 inches anyway, that device. Now we're not moving and the static, that's not us, because we're not moving. See, here we are getting large amounts of measurable energy on 2 different devices out here on the middle of nowhere, 17 degrees on a cold.
Whoa.
That is a lot.
Whoa.
That is a lot of energy. That's 25 milligauss into the red there. Something and somebody has just arrived.
Whoa.
Someone wants to make their presence known, don't they?
Okay.
That's insane. First time it's done that during the entire vigil. Who's making the lights go on that device? Shout your name.
Did you say Bill?
You did sound, yeah, Bill. So we've got Bill again, and that's the spirit we were looking for, and the spirit I think's doing all of this. Is your name Bill? Yes. Bill, are you the Lantern Man? Are you the Lantern Man, Bill? Yes or no? Bill, are you the gentleman who's holding the lantern? Yes or no?
Look at that. Look at that. Constant.
It's getting some responses.
Wow.
It also shows you that it's 17 degrees right now.
We're also up to 3.3.
Really?
We decide to explore the spot farther up the tracks where Adrian saw the cold anomaly on the thermal camera. A laser device is deployed that allows the team to see if a shadow figure passes through it.
That's just crazy, isn't it? Look at that. If there was anything moving around, we'd catch it at this point. We're just searching right now in the undergrowth because we had a really cold shape that was getting larger and larger on the thermal imaging camera. So we walked 50 yards down the track here and using the laser pen to see if we can catch anything moving in the darkness. Whatever that wasn't on the track, it was actually in the undergrowth, because if there were signs for the train driver, they'd actually be close to the track so they weren't obscured by the foliage.
Let's see where we're at here. Still 3.
The eye of it has turned itself off. And it's moved.
Yeah, that's true.
That was actually resting up, and it's turned itself off, and it's actually moved.
Well, that's definitely.
There was no camera on it, so.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Have you got a shot of that?
Yeah.
That's poltergeist activity, isn't it?
Well, we didn't. It's not like we're gonna jiggle the track. We're at point
It's
4.
completely dead.
It's at point 4.
It was
Yeah,
at
look
point
at
4.
that, look.
Just went down to point 3.
Look at that. Fully charged.
Couldn't go
It's
anywhere.
dead. I can't even get that screen back
We are
up.
getting a little bit. I wonder if this is dead too.
It's really close to dead.
It was just fucking there at point 4 again.
Well, all this is dying, but this moved.
Yeah,
It's actually
definitely
moved. So all of the batteries are drained, all of the equipment's died. The equipment's actually moved. When we walked up the track, we came back. We only went 50 yards up the track, and we're the only people here in the middle of nowhere, and all the equipment's moved around. So somebody's interacting with it.
Wow.
It's 14 degrees. We're in the middle of nowhere. There's snow everywhere. I just want to get a final goodbye from you, or a message, if there's anything you want to say about the Lantern Man. If there's any...
No,
What was that?
that's at the back to your
Wow.
box.
Okay.
Moses. Everything's happening. That's never happened before in 25 years. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. That actually sits in there and is actually clamped in place. How bizarre is that? There's things happening here on this track that I've not seen before. It's certainly very active. Okay. Can you just shout your name out and then we'll say goodbye? What's your name? Bill, would you just say goodbye to me, or acknowledge that I've got your name right? Are you Bill? Sauk Centre. Can you just acknowledge that your name is Bill and you are the Lantern Man? Is that correct? Is your name Bill, yes or no? We're leaving now, so if you say goodbye, we'll document your history, we'll put out there a show that lists who you are and what you've done, and that you're the Lantern Man. Would you say goodbye to me? We think we discovered who the Lantern Man was through psychic means, through ghost box activity, over 2 or 3 vigils in the daytime and now at night time, and then finally the historical research to back all of that up. So perhaps this is an urban myth and an urban legend that we can now put to bed and say is historical fact.
So who is the Lantern Man? Adrian believes it's William Bill Teed, who almost died here with his family in 1939. The number 1 that we heard over and over could refer to the date, as the accident happened right around New Year's. But we also heard 14 and 14, which could be referring to the train number. As for Ed, his spirit lingers here too, having killed himself on these tracks.